fans, he apologized to Kendrick Lamar. Many, including myself, were confused, seeing as he'd been on a roll taking shots at Kendrick alongside Drake. With braggadocious bars in records like First Person Shooter and 7-Minute Drill, it seemed like a three-way hip-hop war was imminent. Cole's decision to bow out gracefully left me so confused, even I dropped a video titled J. Cole Let Nas Down Again. And here we are a few weeks removed from rap's first major rap beef since Drake went at Meek Mill, and Cole's decision is all starting to make sense. Hell, even reports came out claiming TDE's Schoolboy Q told J. Cole ahead of time to not come to school the next day, and thank God he didn't, because we just witnessed a bloodbath on Wax that was absolutely great.
Now we going over the reaction playlist, y'all. Whether old or new, we reacting to all the videos that's in the playlist, clean it out, and start over. But we got to get these out, y'all. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
For the culture. I thought these three were just gonna have a fun, competitive, lyrical spar, but it turns out Kendrick and Drake really hate each other's guts. It all started with Kendrick's verse on Metro's album, We Don't Trust You. That's when he declared that there's no hip-hop big three, it's just Big Me. And that's when Aubrey and his Angels went into a total hissy fit on social media. So we ended up getting back-to-back records from Drake,
Aubrey and the Angels,
titled Push-Ups and Tailor-Made Freestyle. I thought Push-Ups was an okay record that served its purpose as a first-round jab. I didn't feel like it was that clever and it was a bit unfocused, but it definitely had its moments. Tailor-Made Freestyle, on the other hand, I wasn't a big fan. This is the record you can't even find online anymore, and that's because Drake chose to use an AI voice mod to make himself sound like Snoop Dogg and Tupac. I understand the angle he tried to take by using Kendrick's West Coast heroes against him, but I don't think it stuck its.
Hey, how many of y'all think that somebody prompt Drake to do that? Like, yeah, we got this new AI software technology. We think you should try it. Or an AI company paid him to try it. I don't know, but that seemed like some corny ass Drake. What y'all think, man?
It's landing for me. Specifically the Tupac portion. That man's been deceased for 30 years. I don't understand why people don't just let him rest in peace. And apparently I wasn't the only one who wasn't a fan either, because the Tupac estate sent a cease and desist notice and the song was taken down. It was seen that Drake didn't ask for permission to use Tupac's voice, which further reinforces why The Heart Part 6 is such a terrible record, but I'll touch on that more later. Instead, I want to focus on a part about tailor-made freestyle that was forgotten. The internet moves really fast these days, so people tend to forget even quicker, so allow me to refresh your memory. One of the key takeaways in tailor-made freestyle was Drake was taunting Kendrick. He kept begging Kendrick to drop, even insinuating he was scared. He also did this on Push-Ups as well. And I'm not gonna lie, at one point it did look like Drake was bullying Kendrick because K-Dot was so quiet. I just want to reinforce the whole taunting part of this battle because I think that part was forgotten, and it plays a major role in why I don't feel bad for what happened to Drake and his stans who are still defending him on social media. But in retrospective, Kendrick really wasn't getting bullied. It was simply the calm before the storm. When the smoke cleared on this battle, all I can think of was that scene from Pearl Harbor where Admiral Yamato says, I think one of the most unique things about this battle we've never seen before is the onslaught of records. Usually artists go back and forth in a battle, but Kendrick treated Drake like he was a fire who was gonna throw dirt on and just suffocate him. And it started with Euphoria, which upon first release, I liked it, but it also felt like a light jab similar to Push-Ups. I would say at this point in the battle, I would give a slight edge to Kendrick, but Drake is far from out of the fight. That's how I felt when the song first dropped. Now that the battle's over, that song is aging like fine wine. Not only is it a banger, but Kendrick told Drake everything that was gonna happen, and he still let it happen. Then K-Dot followed up with 616 in LA, which is a play on Drake's Timestamp series. This song was just okay to me at first, but I think this one has really grown on me. That Al Green sample is great. It's essentially a 3-minute record saying, I don't.
Yeah, what Dot did, he touched the nerves of this generation, the last generation, and the generation that's to come by sampling old school music, having the upbeat tempo on like Euphoria, and Not Like Us. Yeah, what he did was he tapped into everybody's liking and put it all in one on these series of songs from the beef. Drake, on the other hand, he just tried to keep it all into new age. He wasn't able to expand. His mind don't get it. His mind can't think outside the box. Okay, he's so trapped into what they like now. He don't know how to play on the heartstrings, if you will. You know what I mean? He didn't have it. Now that's why he looking like with it. That's why he got just no kid out there fighting for his life. Yeah, no kid is out here struggling, fighting for his life.
I want to do this, but I was chosen to slay the dragon. So let me say a prayer, kiss my wife and kids goodbye as I wage war against a man that represents everything that I hate about modern hip hop culture. This is another song that's aging like fine wine for me, and I've seen people complaining about this song not being available on Apple and Spotify. Now, I don't work for them. This is not an ad, but I will state this is just another reason to own YouTube Premium. Upgrading to YouTube Premium is one of the best things that I've ever did. Not only do you not get any ads on videos, but you also support creators and you get YouTube Music. They have everything songs like 616 in LA.
Hey, if y'all haven't, y'all go invest in some stocks. Them stocks is down. This is the time to go purchase stocks. And you could potentially make a whole lot of money in the near future, a couple months maybe.
I'm just saying, wink, wink, wink. Anyways, this entire battle felt like the personification of pride before the fall. One side told the other, I am fully prepared to dissect you with the precision of a surgeon, and the other side was just trying to little bro the other and meme it up. And meme it up he did. Drake was all over Instagram hinting at the fact that a nuke was coming and the world was on standby. And when he finally hit that red button, oh boy, the damage was done.
Hey, yo, he always posted something. What's this, Ren and Stimpy right here? Oh, he hit the red button. Yeah, he hit it. Yeah, he fell right on it. Bam!
All for a total of 30 minutes, but I'll get back to that later. Instead, let's talk about Family Matters. Many consider this to be one of the best records to come out of this battle, and a week ago I might have agreed, but the more I listen to it, the less I like it. I think the production is great and the visuals are too, but my biggest issues with this record is there are several questionable bars, plus it lacks focus once again. And Drake stands, please stop making excuses for this 37-year-old man. Drake is at the top of the food chain. It's no reason to waste so many bars on people like Future, Metro, and The Weeknd when they can't even rap on your level, so it looks like you're just ducking the Kendrick.
That was a main thing during the battle. That was a main thing during the battle. No, they was caking for Drake, talking about, yeah, he had to spar with him, he had to fight with him, then he had to do this with him. Bruh, ain't nobody tell him to go sit up there and battle rap with people who he know that can't battle rap. Future cannot battle rap. Metro Boomin cannot battle rap. And Ross, he ain't, Ross gonna be talking about art and shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to hear that. He gonna be talking about Maybachs and leather seats and I got the cigar in my mouth and You should have stuck to Kendrick. Ain't nobody tell you to go doing all of that.
Kendrick smoke. We're here for the main event, and instead you're just punching down. I don't know who the boy had in his corner, but if I could have advised him, I would have told him focus on Kendrick. Because not only is he taking shots at everyone, but then he's dropping bars like Kendrick's always rapping like he's trying to free the slaves. I get where you're trying to go with that. He was trying to imply that Kendrick is not this savior that he presents himself to be, but it was a better way to word that. Also, another problem is Kendrick never presented himself to be that. He literally says on his album, I am not your savior, which makes me question Drake as a hip-hop fan. Also, the line's just tacky. What's wrong with freeing all the slaves? If anything, it just reinforces the things Kendrick's been saying about Drake being a culture vulture. No sane African-American would ever tell another, why are you acting like you trying to free all the slaves? Then he dropped another bar that some would consider to be homophobic. He said in one verse, Weeknd's music's getting played in all the spots where boys got a little more pride. That's why all your friends dip into Atlanta paying just to find a tour guide. Now, me personally, I wasn't offended by this bar.
Hold on, where he say that at? That's why I like going over old stuff. I didn't catch that. What we got?
You acting like you trying to free all the slaves. Then he dropped another bar that some would consider to be homophobic. He said in one verse, Weeknd's music's getting played in all the spots where boys got a little more pride. That's why all your friends dip into Atlanta paying just to find a tour guide. Now, me personally, I wasn't offended by this bar, but that moment I heard that bar, I paused the song and I said to my stream over at twitch.tv/theblack yeah, that's about to make you a lot more unnecessary enemies because it was just a stupid and unnecessary bar. It could be offensive to gay and straight people. Because if you're trying to say a straight male like me is gay for liking The Weeknd, I'm just gonna say that's stupid because
I am a man who's gay. You like niggas, get that through your head.
Drake also insinuated some things about Kendrick's character, such as he assaults his wife, but from my research, that's been disproven time and time again. There's even been reports that came out stating he made that up, as well as the Dave Free Kid stuff, simply because he didn't have anything on Kendrick. I don't know what's true. So the way I've been judging this battle to keep things fair is based on the music. Until someone has some real paperwork, I'm simply looking at who had better production, clever bars, schemes, metaphors, and themes. I think Family Matters is a solid Drake record. I
just keep it battle. Keep it Canadian, boy.
just think it could have hit a bit harder if it didn't sound like your typical Drake record and there weren't so many questionable bars. Also, let's be real. It didn't help that Meet the Graham dropped 30 minutes after Family Matters. Meet the Grahams is an amazing song. I've never seen a diss record stomp out another one so quickly. That night was supposed to be Drake's night. I had only listened to Family Matters 2 times before Meet the Grahams dropped, but suddenly Drake's song didn't matter. Everyone was rushing to hear Meet the Grahams because we wanted to hear what Kendrick had to say.
Meet the Grahams was a horror film. It was a horror audio.
Drake stans say that that song sucks because nobody wants to replay it on streaming services or it doesn't bang in the club. But you have to understand, this is a rap battle. The goal of that record was to suck all of the air out of the room for Drake, and it did just that. I don't listen to Ether or No Vaseline regularly, but they're still great diss records. One thing this battle showed me is how casual a lot of rap fans are. I mean, we all knew it, but to actually see it is insane. I even saw Drake stans saying, when are we gonna move past this? This is getting corny. Excuse you? If you're a fan of something, how can you get enough of it? This is the first time that we've seen Titans collide since Nas versus Jay-Z. I mean, Drake versus Meek Mill was just Drake punching down. Meek was never going to win that battle. I mean, rap fans agree Pusha T did body Drake, but Drake stans refuse to accept that. Instead, they opt to make the corny argument about how he has the most album sales, even though Drake admitted he lost.
It's not really much.
But when they had that highlight of him smashing Meek Mill, oh yeah. I was actually arguing with somebody when that came out. I was like, man, I liked it and everything. I liked it the back-to-back. I like it. But I was like, man, Drake ain't say nothing. I was mad.
Fans agree Pusha T did body Drake, but Drake stans refuse to accept that. Instead, they opt to make the corny argument about how he has the most album sales, even though Drake admitted he lost.
It's not really much I can say better than Drake has a baby. He won.
So once again, this is the first battle of the giants that we've seen in a while, so let people enjoy it. For some,
I study battle rap for a living.
This was their first major rap battle, and to be honest, I miss it. A part of me wishes either party dropped one more record because since the battle ended, social media has returned back to your typical gender wars podcast and shitty video game takes all over my timeline. That night Meet the Grahams dropped was absolutely insane. That track gave me goosebumps the first time I heard it. Shout out to The Alchemist because the production sounded like something out of a horror movie. Some people didn't like the beat because it wasn't a club banger, and to those people I say, you totally missed the point. The purpose of that beat was to set a somber mood. The angle K-Dot took by sitting down and sunning each of Drake's family members was great. I've been talking about Drake being an emotionally stunted adult on this channel for some time, so Meet the Grahams really resonated with me. This record felt like a dad was giving his son a well-deserved ass whooping and a stern talking. There's no way you can convince me the reverb on Kendrick's voice when he said "you lied" didn't make your skin crawl. There were tons of
he cooked. Hey, look, he cooking on this one. He said, look, the reverb on that voice, what he did, he said, you lie. You lie. And then he stacked it. You lie. Bro, hey, look. Yeah. That had you tuned in like hell with a party song. I didn't even think about no damn Drake party song.
Of wild accusations on this record as well, such as Kendrick insinuating Drake is running some type of sex trafficking operation and Drake's kids were surrounded by pedos. And oh boy, if this stuff comes to light and it turns out to be true, that's horrible and we need to pack up Drake. But for now, there's not enough hard evidence on that. So instead, I'm strictly judging the song for the creative angle he took, the production, and the delivery. This did not sound like a typical Kendrick record. So to me, he scores points for the creativity and the versatility. Now, in regards to not being enough evidence, I'm talking about the sex ring stuff with the Tinder app. I haven't seen enough on that to believe it, but I will say Drake does have some questionable interactions with young women on record, and Baca, aka Drake's right-hand man, he's looking crazy too. Drake's been shouting out Baca for years, and just in case you needed a reminder,
I might declare it a holiday as soon as Baca get back on the road.
A holiday? Yeah, that line does sound crazy now the world is more aware of the fact that Baca did time for pimping, aka sex trafficking. I mean, let's be real. Baca's got a weird case. Drake, why is he around? That Kendrick made a fair point that was driven home in Not Like Us. This was the nail in the coffin.
I think Baca is somebody that he probably used to look up to, or the people that's in his surrounding area used to look up to, like, yo, that's Baca. Oh, Baca. Then when he grew up, he never got out of that worshiping Baca, and now he just look funny worshiping that nigga. You 37 years old worshiping this older guy, like,
One of the biggest talking points Drake stands make is that Kendrick is boring because he doesn't make club bangers. First off, that's not true. Damn is full of bangers and there's a message in that album. But even if it were true, Kendrick heard y'all and he dropped a joint for everyone to dance to. This song was genius for several reasons. First off, he made this song because Drake can't. What I mean is, one of Kendrick's main talking points is Drake doesn't have his own sound. He just hops on wave to wave, collecting people's styles like they're Infinity Stones and he's Thanos. Even in the early days, Drake was just a copy of Fonte with a pinch of Trey Songz. I think what Drake had going for him in the early days was he was vulnerable and he had relatable music to some degree. His emotions and worldview allowed both men and women to enjoy his music because it was very down to earth. It was that moment he started acting like some type of mob.
that's fake. Yeah, that's fake. They clipped them off because it don't look like they real, don't it? Yeah, that joint do look real a little bit.
Our boss is when he started to lose the people. Kendrick doesn't have to do all that. Not Like Us is him essentially saying, I'm from the West Coast, this is what we do, and oh, I can do a club record better than you. I just don't care to do club records all the time because, well, I have other things I want to talk about. I am genuinely shocked the most quotable meme bars came from the Kendrick songs. I expected nothing but triple entendres and metaphors, but this man gave us, what is it, the braids? And shoo, and you can't forget A minor, and that's just a few. I could keep going. Half of Not Like Us is basically just calling Drake a pedo, stuff we've heard before, but the reason it resonated with the people is because of Kendrick's delivery. He's having fun on the record and once again showing versatility. My favorite scheme in this song was that Atlanta flip. This man took those homophobic bars from Family Matters about Atlanta and turned it into a whole history lesson, then used that history lesson to prove how Drake is colonizing Atlanta, which further plays into his insecurities of not.
Bro, them 17 days, hey, look, them 17 days that he was taking the drop, we ever get a 17 days like that again, you know what time it is. You know what time it is, man. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. How you, how it go? To make them rich, fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. That was a real history lesson, man. He actually set everybody down in his classroom and had the pointer, the stick at the chalkboard. Like, yep, this what happened, that's what happened. Y'all paying attention? Everybody on Drake's side, they was in ISS and shit. In school suspicion for playing around too damn much.
Not belonging to the culture and being half white. I just don't understand how anyone can call themselves a rap fan, but then call this song trash. And before anyone calls me a Kendrick fanboy, just know you're listening to someone who used to call himself Drake Jr. and Darth Drake. I literally used to troll.
Hey, look, Drake has some smart people on his side, but they start to see through the bullshit. He said he used to call himself Drake Vader. Darth, what'd he say? Hold on.
White. I just don't understand how anyone can call themselves a rap fan, but then call this song trash. And before anyone calls me a Kendrick fanboy, just know you're listening to someone who used to call himself Drake Jr. and Darth Drake. I literally used to troll in Call of Duty lobbies singing like Drake because I was such a big Drake fan at that point in my life.
I sound like Drake. Yeah, when he's dying.
I think the biggest tragedy about this battle is how it all ended. It was so anticlimactic. Drake dropped the last record and it's called The Heart Part 6, which, by the way, awful record. I don't even think he should have dropped this song. The gist of the song was, I'm not a pedo because I'm too famous to be a pedo. Sir, men of power have abused said power since the beginning of time. If anything, that's the reason we should be sus about you. If I was a lawyer, I would tell Drake to shut the fuck up. Then he said he planted all this info that Kendrick rapped about and he's some type of mob mob boss pulling the strings and this was all a part of his plan? I'm sorry, but your master plan was to have the world shouting you're a pedo over a mustard beat? You're fucking crazy. Make it make sense. Also, you remember the tailor-made freestyle and how I said I'd get back to that? So let me get this straight. It was your master plan to purposely use AI Tupac's voice without the estate's permission so the record could get taken down and then people could forget about it? He also misunderstood the bars from Kendrick's album about his mother being sexually assaulted. Drake thought those bars were about Kendrick, so he tried to use them against him by saying he touches himself to Mariah Carey's Touch My Body. I know it's a rap battle, but making fun of a child being essayed is crazy, especially considering you're being called a pedo. But the icing on the cake is he was wrong. That didn't happen. It's like Drake's
snap. I got to have that as a thumbnail. I got to have that. Where we at? 1333? Oh, Lord. I got to have that. I got to have that. Wow. Wow.
Ghostwriters just listened to Mr. Morale and Big Steppers once and they couldn't comprehend the concept of the song. Then at the end of the Heart Part 6, he just yaps for the last minute and a half. He just makes some jokes about how Kendrick's gonna drop 1,000 more songs because he's so obsessed, and to bring this video full circle, that's what makes this battle so anticlimactic. Friendly reminder, half of Push-Up's and tailor-made freestyle was spent
That's the second time he said anticlimactic. I'm gonna go look that up and start using it.
taunting Kendrick to drop music. Even the hook was a double entendre on Push-Ups when he said, drop, 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 drop. That wasn't just about the contract splits. He was taunting K-Dot to drop music, and when he did, Drake didn't want to rap anymore. He just waved the white flag. The whole Heart Part 6 was weak, but that last minute and a half was next level weak, and a prime example of be careful what you wish for. The best thing to come out of the Heart Part 6 was this.
I'm not gonna lie, this shit was some good exercise. Like, it's good.
Hey, look, man, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Dot said, hell with your Heart Part 6. This is the real Heart Part 6. And continue on to his series. Continue his series. Hey, he ignored the hell out that Heart Part 6. Nah, man. Get that tooken down, man. Pac people don't like it. I don't like it. We don't like it. We're not slow. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this breakdown, man. I'm about to go through the rest of these videos. And y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.